Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, I'm playing video series videos I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm gonna talk about the stuff. I'm gonna let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not gonna lie. I just got thirsty, so I figured I'd review something while I was thirsty. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my back room, which means we get Peter Can Thunderbolt poster behind me. Always a joy. Whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I am doing something else. What is it? I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today? Well, it happens to be my Dragon Ball shirt. And I've worn this one in a number of reviews now. It's just a great shirt. You know, it's a nice casual shirt. It's also one of the relatively few shirts that I own that isn't just black or concert related for that matter. But yeah, aside from, being a big concert nerd and stuff like that, I'm also, a bit of just an overall nerd. I like video games and anime and, stuff like that. And back during like the late 90s, early 2000s when the big North American anime boom hit really hard, we started getting in a whole bunch of stuff. And one of the things that we eventually got after Dragon Ball Z was hugely successful was the original Dragon Ball. And I used to watch this on Toonami back in the day. And I was super into it. I didn't know I was going to be right off the bat because, it is a little bit more of a lighthearted than like the Z stuff and everything. It's a little bit more just kind of fun. But I really liked that about that. I just thought it was a really cool thing, fun adventure story. So I like to represent it shirt-wise. But anyway, what am I trying for your day, folks? What are we doing here? It has nothing to do with Dragon Ball Z and everything to do with a old-timey soda. So yeah, over the weekend, I went out to a place called Rocket Fizz, which is a specialty soda and candy shop. And I've reviewed any number of things from that place over the years. They're great for review stuff. I could basically just do my channel based off the stuff they have there. And I went around looking for certain things. Some things I found, some things I didn't. But I knew that I always like to get like old-timey sodas and stuff. I find those to be fun. And I found this one and I was like, well, okie doke. So what is it, folks? What are we doing here? It's boom! It is Dr. Wells since 1935. Yes, okay. It's got cane sugar. Good, good, good. Apparently, this is produced by the Dad's Root Beer Company. So, I'm a big fan of Dad, so I actually had no idea that they produced this as well. I have no idea what this is, though. I'm guessing it's a Dr. Pepper knockoff, but who knows, because it's so old. So, first of all, let's get a thing for the thing. Kind of, maybe kind of like that. Ha 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 ha! Let's give it a go. Twist, twist. I figured since it was Dad's are twist off. Yeah, that's definitely Dr. Pepper. Let's give it a go. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely a Dr. Pepper derivative, but it's doing its own thing. Okay. It's not bad as far as Dr. Pepper knockoffs go. But it does run into the same problem that pretty much all Dr. Pepper knockoffs run into, in that it's not Dr. Pepper. It's somewhat close. I'll say it's closer than some of the like budget branded Dr. Pepper knockoffs that there are, like Dr. Thunder and shit like that. Now, which I've reviewed, by the way, on the channel. Yeah, it has a more cohesive flavor, and it doesn't, kind of put a word on it. It doesn't taste as cheap as some of the other knockoffs that I've had do, but it also doesn't taste as full of flavor as proper Dr. Pepper. It doesn't have the same, quite the same kick to it that Dr. Pepper has. You know, it has kind of like a spiced sort of aspect to it. This has some of that flavoring, but it lacks the oomph to it. But it is nice. I like the cane sugar aspect of it. You know, that definitely does make a difference taste-wise for sure. Uh, yeah, I think honestly, if the if the flavoring blend that they used was basically one for one with Dr. Pepper, I would that on top of having just the cane sugar would be really exceptionally nice. But because it doesn't have quite the same blend, or at least not in the same proportions, whatever you want to consider it, it's just not a one to one. It has its things about it that are kind of nice, but it does still just feel a little bit lacking, but not by leaps and bounds. Like overall, it's a very nice drinking experience. It does, and to its credit, another thing that a lot of like the knockoff, more modern derivatives uh, have working against them, at least in my opinion, they don't really feel like a proper old timey soda. Just something about the modern makeup of it. They don't really hold up. This I would say does. This feels like a proper old timey soda, and I like that about it. But yeah, it's nice. I like the way that it drinks. It's in terms of being sodas that are attempting to taste like Dr. Pepper. This is one of the better ones. I would say that this is way up there. Maybe along the lines of something like Mr. Pibb or some shit. One of the ones that actually is doing it properly. Yeah, I like this. But two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Um, yeah, maybe and kinda. Here's the only problem I run into with it. It's a good drink. Like there's nothing about it I dislike, but there's nothing about it that I like more than I already like about Dr. Pepper, which obviously is very widely available. Whereas comparatively to Dr. Wells here, I had to get it from a specialty store. Now it might be more available depending on where you're at. I don't know. Um, it's just the thing of like, I guess there is something to be said for it as far as again, it uses the cane sugar. It has a nice taste to it, but it is just one of those things of like, yeah, but I could just be drinking, uh, Dr. Pepper, which for me personally, it's just a superior experience. I like the way it hits harder for me. So it's not a bad drink. There's nothing wrong with it, but the fact that it is a relatively close imitation kind of works against it in this regard because it is so close to Dr. Pepper, but not quite at the same level of Dr. Pepper. Even if it's just a slight deviation, it's like why? That's where I run into the problem with this. Where at least with like Mr. Pibb really does have its own personality. Dr. Wells is trying a little bit too hard to mimic that Dr. Pepper flavor, and it just doesn't quite deliver at the same level. But it is good. Like, I certainly don't, have any issue with it. But I don't think I would get it again either. I just, for that same thing, if I'm recommending it, I mean, if you want to try it, if you're a soda connoisseur like myself, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. If you like Dr. Pepper, you'll probably enjoy it on some level. You might even like it more, depending. I would say if you, like I said, if you're into trying out, especially old-timey sodas, definitely worth a go. But yeah, just it is one of those things for me. It's like, just get a Dr. Pepper. But 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go out there and have yourselves a truly Dr. Pepper knockoff-tastic rest of your life. Because, I mean, say what you want, man, but Dr. Pepper, everybody loves to emulate the doctor. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what do you do if you can't do it all the time? I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, do you have any Dr. Pepper knockoffs that you'd like to recommend to me? Again, you've got like your more generic brand ones, your Dr. Thunders and whatnot, like the in-store brand ones. Then, you move past that, and, like I said, you've got like your Mr. Pibbs and stuff. But then, of course, you do get ones like this where it's just like every so often you find another one where it's like, all right, I guess. The one that I remember that sadly they haven't made in a long time, it was from Sobe, and it was Mr. Green. Oh, man. I miss when Sobe, like, made beverages and stuff, man. The strawberry banana stuff and everything. I miss it. But anyway.